Hi everyone, Spiderman 1991 here, and I'm now going to do my comic reviews for the comics that came out May 2nd, 2012. This week, also, the Avengers movie came out. Yay for that. Don't ask me if I've seen it yet, because, believe me, you'll know when I've seen it once I post the review of it. Okay, now back to the comics. Kicking off with Marvel. Avengers Academy, number 29. Basically, this is a tie-in to Avengers vs. X-Men, and I think this takes place, I'd say it probably takes place in between 2 and 3. It takes place, I feel like it takes place like halfway through issue 3 of Avengers vs. X-Men. Anyways, basically what happens is the Avengers show up at the event at the Academy, and they bring some of the Teenage Mutants that were still on Utopia. And the reason that they brought them there was because they want to keep the kids out of the whole Avengers vs. X-Men fight. So basically, over the course of the issue, some students do start to bond with the mutants, but others don't. There are still some hostilities in between them. And also, not just Teenage Mutants were brought here, but also Sebastian Shaw was too, because he was a captive on Utopia, and he was brought to the Academy and put in a holding cell. But then, and this is really kind of hilarious, but basically, Sebastian Shaw has the ability to absorb kinetic energy and then redirect it into powerful super strength punches. Basically, he hit himself in the head for like 8 hours straight with a book, and then punched through a wall to escape his cell. Man, what some people do to get out of prison. Okay, anyways. It's just so... that's just something I found funny, because it's like, he smashes a book with his head and it says, 8 hours later, boom, boom, boom. It's really funny if you see it. Wolverine does arrive with the Avengers, and he does briefly talk to X-23 about like how's it going and stuff, so there is that if you are interested, if you are an X-23 fan. I wouldn't say any significant... If I had to say if any particular student stood out during this issue, I would say it's probably a big deal for X-23, because she just recently joined the Academy, Avengers Academy, and she's also and she was living on Utopia up until Second Coming. So there's that. I would say this really isn't a bad tie-in to Avengers vs. X-Men, because it does deal... Because I think most of the X-Men that we're going to be dealing with are going to be from Cyclops' team, and they're mostly going to be like the, I think, Uncanny X-Men team. Like the Extinction team, that's what Cyclops calls his like main posse of mutants. So, it's interesting to know what happens to all the other like teenagers on Utopia, what's going to happen to them. So this book does answer that question. I would say it's good, but not really necessary for Avengers vs. X-Men. Alright, next up, okay, Avengers vs. X-Men, round 3. Okay, basically Cyclops and like I said earlier, the Extinction team, Cyclops and his Extinction team, which is basically, I believe, Colossus, Namor, Magneto, Magic, Emma Frost, and Danger. They escape. They pretty much first go, we surrender. We surrender, and they act like they're giving up. But then they escape by using Magic's abilities, and they're able to get out of Utopia right when the Avengers, take over. And meanwhile, while this is going on, from last issue, Hope pretty much was able to get out of Utopia. She ran away. Now, basically, Hope's broke into an electronics store. Now she's built like some sort of jamming device that could help keep her hidden from Cerebro and Cerebra and all other mutant detecting devices. And then a few hours later, Wolverine contacts Rachel Gray at the Jean Grey school, and she tells Wolverine and the Avengers that she used Cerebro to track Hope, but Hope's energy signature is spread off to 5 different locations. So it's now hard to pinpoint where Hope is, and they need to get. And so basically, the Avengers decide to split up into 5 teams and go after the different locations where Cerebro said Hope is. And meanwhile, right after Rachel Gray is done talking to Wolverine, she hangs up She closes all communications. Then she telepathically contacts Cyclops and tells him the exact same thing she told Wolverine, that about where Hope is and stuff. So apparently there's a traitor in the mix on Wolverine's team. And anyways, back to the main thing. Avengers are split off into 5 teams. Cap asks Logan to join on his team, so Logan comes along. And while they're in the jet and flying towards going to their destination, which is in the Savage Land, Cap takes Wolverine to the side, has a little sidebar with Wolverine for a moment, and when he's talking to him, Wolverine pretty much reveals to Cap that he doesn't really intend to want to keep Hope safe. He wants to kill Hope, so the Phoenix cannot come here at all. So now pretty much Wolverine's bringing in a third factor to this story, where the Avengers want to keep Hope safe in custody, X-Men want her to bond to the Phoenix so they can use the power, and Wolverine, who basically just wants to kill her and get the danger eliminate the danger completely, I suppose. And, this is a lot. Logan's actions here are very similar to when in Avengers Children's Crusade, when the Scarlet Witch returned. He immediately wanted to just immediately kill Scarlet Witch, not even worry about what's going to happen. So anyways, Cap and Logan start fighting over what they're about Hope, and then Cap reveals that, yeah, Logan, I kind of knew you would probably do something like this. So he pushes Logan out of the plane and into the Arctic Circle. So now Logan's pretty much stuck in the Arctic, and the jet flies away. So now when Logan's alone in the Arctic, he pretty much says to himself, well, guess it's all up to me now. End of issue. Alright, well, Avengers vs. X-Men. Once again, no one's sure about where Wolverine's loyalties lie. Okay? He's an Avenger, he's an X-Men. But now, apparently, I'm starting to think he's not going to be neutral. He's just going to be his own fraction in this story. He's going to be the one who wants to kill Hope. He doesn't want the Phoenix to bond with her, but he doesn't really... So, in a way, he does share the Avengers' view that he doesn't want the Phoenix to bond with Hope, but he doesn't want to keep Hope safe. He wants to kill her so that the Phoenix cannot come back. Or find anything else to bond with, I guess. So, yeah, still, Avengers vs. X-Men is a pretty great event. If you're not picking this up, shame on you. I would highly recommend that you do pick this up. It does still come with a free digital copy. Don't ask me about my code. Don't ask me to give you the code or anything, because I'm not. Alright, moving right along. Definitely my favorite series from Marvel. Amazing Spider-Man 685. Okay, Spider-Man, Black Widow, and Silver Sable continue their mission to go around the world and disable all of Doc Ock's missile factories where he's constructing the components for his big satellite web. And when they're doing this, though, they get word. Black Widow checks communications, and she learns that Doc Ock has pretty much convinced every nation to declare Spider-Man global enemy number 1. And, of course, this makes Spidey realize he's going to need some more help with this. So he puts out his own global message to, every single hero that's still on Earth. And he tells them that he gives them, all the locations of the other factories and tells them that he needs their help and they should help out. And this is, a bunch of B and C-list heroes. If you want more details about which heroes did what, there is something called Ends of the Earth special coming out, I think, maybe next week or the week after that. It's sometime this month, and that will give you details about what each hero went through. I'm not getting it. Don't ask me if I'm going to get it, because I'm not. I don't really like buying into all the extra stuff. Okay, so anyways, while the other heroes are destroying most of the other factories, Widow, Spidey, and Sable concentrate on another factory that's right in Romania, right near the border of Sable's home country, and right when they arrive at the factory, they discover it empty. Then Doc Ock comes on the screens, and he says, I abandoned this factory because, guess what? I'm done. I have my entire web complete. And, by the way, Spider-Man, you were right. I am going to kill everyone. Because this is Doc Ock's logic. If he's going down, he's taking the entire world with him. So, So, Spider-Man was right all along. Doc Ock did want to destroy the world. Bet you people who thought he was a criminal, or who thought Spider-Man was a criminal, are kicking themselves silly now. And that's basically where the issue ends. Okay, well, Ends of the Earth Ends of the Earth. This is part 5. No, wait. I don't think this is part 5. Another chapter in Ends of the Earth. Yeah, sure, let's say that. This is still a pretty great series. It's pretty much Spider-Man, Silver Sable, and Black Widow up against the world. Or I guess now their numbers are larger since they were able to get a few other heroes to help out. Still, this is a great story. I mean, Dan Slott has been killing it on Amazing Spider-Man, and this has just been great. Oh yeah, there's also a fight with the Rhino, and Spider-Man reveals another gadget he designed just specifically for that villain. So yeah, still, Ends of the Earth is pretty great. I think we only have 1 or 2 more issues until the end. So will Spidey save the day? And another question you should ask yourself is, will this really be the end of Doc Ock? Because let's face it, it's comic books. Death is a revolving door. Alright, that's it for Marvel. Time for DC. And the first comic from DC is a number 1. It is something that is a continuation of something that I was sad to see end, but now it's continuing on through comics. Smallville, Season 11, number 1. Alright, new season of Smallville. Alright, basically this issue takes place 6 months after the events of the Smallville finale. Not the last scene we saw where Clark and Lois in the future Daily Planet. No, I mean like 6 months after Apocalypse nearly collided with Earth. Basically, Clark is still Superman. He's pretty much gone public now. He's also changed his suit too, if you notice on the cover. So Clark's Superman. He's saving the day, and he's also gaining some fame. People know who he is. And Lex Luthor is also head of LexCorp now, and of course Lex. He believes that Superman is really just a threat, masquerading as a hero, and one day he's gonna be the end of humanity. And Lex is pretty much trying his best to get the government to approve some weapons he's developing to deal with any alien threat, including Superman. And also, Lex still doesn't quite remember everything that happened during the Smallville TV series, because when he's on the street, he runs into Clark Kent at a newsstand, and he does vaguely recall Clark, but not much. He says he recognizes Clark and remembers his name, but all he knows is that they used to be friends at some point, but now they're not. And also, Chloe and Oliver are still in Metropolis. Oliver is still Green Arrow, but he and Chloe are planning on moving to Star City, but they haven't done it yet. They've just kind of, it hasn't really gone through with them. And the end of the issue is basically Chloe's at the Watchtower, and she's reviewing some footage of when Superman saved a Russian satellite earlier in the issue. Chloe goes over some footage, and she notices that not only was this strange aura appearing in the sky, but also a spaceship is coming, also headed towards Earth. So now we're gonna have another alien visitor come to Earth. Oh yeah, also one more thing about the Lois and Clark relationship. They're still engaged. I mean, the wedding was postponed, and they will get married. I mean, we saw that final scene in the finale, but right now they're just sort of engaged, and the wedding is postponed. But yeah, this issue does pick off right sort of where the show left off. You can if you saw the end of Smallville, you can pick this up and immediately follow along with it. I would definitely recommend. Oh yeah, also one more thing, spoiler, but Lex, after he has run-in with Clark, he later saw he thinks he saw Tess Mercer, his half sister. Okay, but anyways, still, this is great. I'm really glad Smallville is able to continue on with in comic book format, because because the thing about the finale, it was great, but it left you wondering, what's Clark like now that his face is everywhere, now that he's Superman? What's really changed? Well, this is going to give us the answer. We're going to see how Clark can now deal with, being recognized as Superman and stuff. And I guess now that he's wearing the red and blue suit, the threats are larger, the stakes are higher, but hey, he'll still fight for truth, justice, and all that stuff. Alright, continue on with DC. Animal Man, number 9. Picking off from last issue, The Rot has the entity known as the Rot has possessed Buddy Baker's body, and Buddy's spirit is somehow stuck in the red dimension, which is pretty much which the red represents like all animal life, I think. And while this is going on for Buddy and his body's being controlled, the rest of the Buddy's wife Ellen and their 2 kids manage to get their way to a small motel, stay in a small town motel, and while Buddy's son Cliff and Ellen are in the parking lot, they run into John Constantine. For those of you who've marine Swamp Thing and Justice League Dark, you know who John Constantine is, and apparently it's the teaser for next issue said Justice League Dark on it. Okay, well, basically now Buddy Baker is stuck, technically did die, and now he has to figure out a way to get back to his body and defeat the Rot and stop them from taking his daughter, because apparently Buddy's daughter, Maxine, is like the avatar of the Red now. Oh yeah, and also the first page of this issue does make a reference to the Grant Morrison run of the first Animal Man series, so that was a fun little note I had with this issue. Still, Animal Man is a very interesting story. It's not your traditional superhero story, but it's very entertaining. However, the artwork is a little gory, so if you have a weak stomach, I wouldn't recommend this. But overall, I'd say Animal Man is a great series and that you should pick it up. Okay, Action Comics number 9. This issue takes place on Earth 23, where Superman is President of the United States in his civilian identity. That's pretty much what this issue is. It's just introducing the Superman of an alternate Earth. I mean, Superman as the President of the United States is an interesting idea, little different scenario. I mean, what would Superman be like if he was president? Well, this really isn't necessary. I mean, it's just kind of a one-shot, I wouldn't say what if, but just kind of a, alternate, give you a taste of one of the 52 multiple universes DC has, because, that's what DC is all about, the multiverse. This is just giving you a little taste of it. I wouldn't say this is necessary for, what's going on in Action Comics right now with the story of Superman 5 years ago. So, if you want to, you can skip it this month. But if you are curious about the multiverse, then I would say pick it up. If not, you can skip it. It's no big deal. Alright, now, I want to say one more thing. I was thinking about getting Teen Titans Annual #1 for the Culling crossover, but the Culling story also involved Legion Lost, and I wasn't going to get that. And the annual was $5, and I just thought, okay, I don't really want to spend $5 on this, so I'm just going to stick to the Superboy and Teen Titans issue tie-ins for the whole Culling event. This gives me a perfect time to talk about my whole policy on annuals. When it comes to annuals, I don't get every one, okay? I check what the annual is going to be about, and if it sounds interesting to me, yeah, I'll get it, but if not, I'm probably just going to skip it. Because, those things cost like $5, and that's a little outrageous. But I did get one new comic this week from DC. It is part of their new second wave. It is Earth 2, #1. Taking place on Earth 2. Alright. Okay, so basically, the story for Earth 2 we start off 5 years ago. So, okay, it's 5 years ago, and Earth is being invaded by Apocalypse. Sound familiar? Well, there is a difference in this story from what we've heard about what's going on in the main DC universe, or Earth 1 as it's called. Instead of the Justice League forming on this Earth, the only heroes we have are the Trinity, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, plus Supergirl and Robin, who in this universe is Batman's daughter, Helena Wayne. So anyways, they fight the forces of Apocalypse. However, they are vastly outnumbered because Superman even notes in his because Wonder Woman and Superman note in their monologues that Paradise Island and Metropolis are gone, Lois Lane is dead. So it's pretty much like the heroes are using their last-ditch effort to defeat the apocalyptic forces. And they are able to defeat the armies of Apocalypse. However, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman all die in the process. Okay? And as for what happened to Supergirl and Robin, well, they went through a portal and they wound up in an alternate universe. For that, you're going to have to read World's Finest. I'm not getting it, but, if you are curious, their story is going to take place in World's Finest, and that's when they're going to be Power Girl and Huntress, not Supergirl and Robin. Okay, so anyways, back to the main thing. After the whole 5-year story of how the Trinity defeated the armies of Apocalypse at the cost of their very lives, we cut to the present, and basically we're given a few short-page introductions to Alan Scott, who is going to be this Earth's Green Lantern, and Jay Garrick, who is going to be this Earth's Flash. Now, basically you have two different these guys are very different, Alan Scott and Jay Garrick, because Alan is the CEO of Gotham Broadcasting. Well, Gotham Broadcasting Company, and Jay Garrick is kind of like this average guy, and he's 21. He's just graduated college, but he has no idea what he wants to do with his life. And his girlfriend just broke up with him because she wanted to take a job offer on the other side of the country. So Jay's pretty much left pondering what he's going to do with his life. Then suddenly something crashes in a crater nearby him. He goes and investigates it, and it's the Greek god Mercury, here to tell Jay that a darker evil is coming and this world needs a hero. And our teaser for the next issue is The Flash. I was a little hesitant about getting Earth 2 when I saw the cover with... when it was first announced, Earth 2 and the Justice Society, I thought, oh, cool. But then when I saw the cover and it had Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman, I was a little hesitant because, they weren't really a part of the Justice Society. Well, they were founding members in the Golden Age, but I don't think they did much for the series because they had their own comics at the time. Anyways... Apparently, James Robinson, the writer, revealed in an interview that the story of the Justice Society on this Earth is that they're going to be they're sort of the successors to the big three here. So it's now interesting to note that the Justice Society is going to be like this new generation of heroes on this Earth. I think that's great. Anything else I want to add? Well, I am going to get the next 2 issues because issue 2 will deal with Jay getting his powers and becoming the Flash, and issue 3 will be Alan Scott becoming this Earth's Green Lantern. So I am a little curious about how they're going to do those origins now. But I like the first issue of Earth 2 because it definitely sets the stage that this is not the regular DC universe. This is another world, another version of it that's all its own. So, I think it's great. It has potential. That's what's great about this number 1 is that it does have potential for a great series. And I really hope that they do not screw this up. So that's all my comics for this week. So, in conclusion, Earth 2 number 1. A new story on a new Earth. Definitely has potential. Action Comics number 9. The story of Superman on alternate Earth. It's pretty much optional if you want to read it. And Animal Man, number 9. Buddy Baker's soul is stuck in the red, but his body is possessed by the rot. How's he going to get out of this one? And Smallville, season 11, number 1. The story continues. Check out what Clark's been up to since the whole Apocalypse incident. Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, 685. Ends of the Earth continues, and Spider-Man was right. Avengers vs. X-Men number 3. Wolverine is starting to divert away from both the Avengers and the X-Men to some sort of fraction all his own. And lastly, Avengers Academy number 29. Great, nice little tie into Avengers vs. X-Men, and it does center on X-23 if you like her character. Okay, that's all for my comic reviews this week. Spider-Man 1991 saying see you later.